On August 25th, primary runoff day, you will be deciding two state questions. What do they really mean? We have an expert on that from the state capitol to tell us about that. Also, is Oklahoma a good spot for a new nuclear, whatever they're calling it, a campus? But what all does that mean? Those stories and more right now on Flashpoint.
Now, moderator Kevin Ogle with Mike Turpin and Todd Lamb. This is Flashpoint.
Good morning and welcome to Flashpoint. We're glad you're joining us on this Sunday morning, and we appreciate you having your Sunday morning cup of coffee with us, whether you're through for the weekend or getting ready for your Sunday services. We have on the big program today Senator Mark Mann from Oklahoma City. Mark's been on the program before. He's a Democrat, and he's going to tell us what these state questions are that you're going to be voting on in a few weeks here. It's good to see you again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. What's going on at the state capitol right now? Interim studies?
Interim studies are about to get started, and we'll go from there to filing bills and start back up in February.
All right.
Have you heard my deep conviction on interim studies?
No.
I won't share it again. Recently on a program, in 6 years in the state Senate, 8 years as lieutenant governor, president of the Senate, the first time I attended an interim study was when I was president of UCO.
I think
Not a big fan historically of interim studies, but I'm sure the ones now are
sparingly.
very important. I'm sure they're very important.
Any of them you care about?
Yeah, I mean, I've got one over bringing Alzheimer's Research Institute to OU, getting a national health grant for that, and what we need to do to prep for that, and a couple on criminal justice reform.
Okay.
Senator, let's talk about these state questions because Mike called you and said, I know you know something about them, and a lot of people are going to be voting on them. They may not know exactly what they say or what they're meant to say, so we called you to fill us in on that. And we are going to start with state question 844, and we'll show the question that the voters will be looking at when they get the ballot. But can you kind of break this down? This is about amending certain tax revenue.
Yes. So,
and what does that mean?
That's not vague at all.
So currently
Fill the
in
blanks.
Oklahoma, since the 80s, there's a manufacturing ad valorem tax credit. Just another tool the state has as they're trying to recruit business.
Incentive.
Yes, and it's a great incentive. It works. I think there are a lot of people who have moved to Oklahoma and expanded their manufacturing base here because of that incentive that's in the package. The way it's worked from the time it was conceived through today is the counties assess that property because they're no longer going to collect ad valorem for 5 years. They send that
property taxes.
Property taxes for schools and county government.
Those
They
counties.
collect that money, or they assess that, send it to the state. We appropriate dollars and reimburse them.
You send them a check.
Yes.
You reimburse the school districts, the cities, and the counties?
Yes.
You reimburse?
Everybody gets their part.
Go ahead.
What this bill does is it allows the legislature to determine how much, or if any, reimbursement will be made to those counties.
After the 5 years, now set
During
this
that
up.
5 years. After 5 years, it reverts back and the county assesses and begins
Okay.
to collect taxes.
Okay.
This is for the first 5 years of inception of a manufacturing operation.
So who's for it, who's against it?
I don't know why anybody would be for it. I'm against it because, I mean, anytime we make
And
a
you're a
decision.
state lawmaker.
I'm a lawmaker. Anytime we make a decision at the state level, it should not impact negatively a county or school district, local government. And so when we make a decision to give a tax credit, that's a great thing. It helps us recruit people. But it's our responsibility to make sure those local communities recuperate that money because there's going to be increased kids in school. You're going to have infrastructure that needs upgraded and maintained. You're going to have police, fire, county sheriffs. All that stuff is going to be a burden as you bring more people in. And so the counties need the money to pay for that.
So what you're saying is that the legislature will now tell the counties how much they're going to get back because those manufacturers
If
are not
any.
going to pay property taxes for 5 years.
Yes.
They're exempt.
They're
They'd be
exempt.
exempt for 5 years.
Legislature go tell them you may or may not get a reimbursement.
And so that's my point. If we're going to pass out a tax incentive, which I think is a good tax incentive to have, and it's worked well since the 80s, we need to back that up with the dollars and make sure that our local communities aren't impacted.
Back to Todd's question, who's really pushing for it? I mean, all I hear is vote no, vote no. We don't need it.
I don't really know who's
Okay,
pushing for it,
okay,
or I don't
okay.
have a good reason why.
Well,
I mean, I've never heard anybody make a case for why this is a good thing.
we may see commercials on this before it happens, and maybe we'll find out then. We haven't seen any yet. But it is something that the voters will have to decide.
Yes.
And when you get to those state questions, you start reading through them, they can get a little confusing. I mean, even for somebody like myself.
A lot of legalese.
Yeah, who does this for
That's the actual
living.
ballot.
Yeah, and there's a lot on there.
Yeah.
But don't most people, you guys know more about this than I do, if they look at this and say, I'm not sure about this, don't they vote no most of the time?
I think a lot of people do. And unfortunately, a lot of people get their information off social media. So they may go in and think they know what it is and not know what it is. But a lot of organizations have put out information about both of these state questions, and they'll be doing that again for the ones that are coming up in
And you get to state questions. We have one more to get to on this program that you're going to talk about. But we as a state arrive at having state questions on our ballot two ways. There's
Correct.
a referendum, which means the legislature votes on the state question to refer it to the people, and there's an initiative petition process, which the people can petition to initiate the state question on the ballot. And this was a referendum.
Yes, both of these are referendums.
So the legislature put this on.
Yes.
So it doesn't affect the businesses coming in at all. It's the same for them no matter
It's the same
what.
for them. The tax credit still exists.
Is
It
there
will
a
exist going
formula you
forward.
guys go by for each county that you send them a certain amount every year?
The county does their assessment, and
Okay.
then that's billed back to the state.
Okay, so but they do an assessment on this is how much this business would owe us.
Yes.
If they were paying property
were paying
taxes
property
and weren't exempt for 5 years.
Exactly.
And then they bill the state that amount.
Yeah.
The county or the school district.
And now this, if it passes, gives the legislature a chance to say, yeah, that's too much.
Or we're just not going to do it at all. I
Yeah.
mean, the way this is written, we could literally just say we're going to grant the tax exemption and you're out of luck.
There is no
Bill
way.
them
No
6 years.
reimbursement.
There is no way, and this is not a reflect on the citizenry, so don't text Mike about this. But there's no way the majority of people that vote on this state question would be able to explain this state question in 5 sentences or less.
No.
Which should be a requirement for any state question that's on the ballot now or in the future. My point is, it's extremely complex with multiple layers.
It's complex, and it's dragging a really good economic development tool into the mix. I mean, the tax credit is a good thing, and the state needs to have that in its toolbox when we're trying to recruit people.
But is this a way, let me play devil's advocate to your no vote with a yes vote, and say this might be a way that the legislature can work around all these budget issues we have if they look at this and say, if we give what they say they're owed back to this county for these businesses who aren't paying, would this be a way for them to say, no, not quite that much, we're going to save a little bit, and this will help us at the end of the year when we're always short, it seems.
I suspect that'll be the argument made why they reduce or eliminate some of these payments if this were to pass. But I don't think that's fair to those municipalities or to the counties and school districts that are out there. The state's the only person that can grant this exemption. And if we're going to grant it, we need to make the counties and school districts whole. I don't think it's just a bad state
What
question.
was the vote to send this to the ballot in the
I think it
in the
was along
Senate?
party lines.
Well, aren't you good at reading my mind? That's exactly.
It was along party lines.
Well, let me ask this, another devil's advocate here. Is there a sense among some lawmakers, obviously not you, that maybe some counties inflate the numbers?
They would probably make that argument, but I mean, with any ad valorem bill, whether it's on your home here in Oklahoma City or a business, there's a protest process that you can go through if it's been overassessed.
Well, okay, all right. Well, we'll leave
Vote
that.
no.
What
Go
do you
ahead.
think of this, Mike?
Go ahead.
The politics behind it.
Well, I've actually read it. I don't always, but I actually had the ballot. Susan Turbert gave it to me, and it's about 6 inches of verbiage to read it and try to
And that's small.
understand it.
That's small print there.
Yeah. And so, sure, we should help the manufacturers with the exemption.
We want them to come.
We want them to come. At the same time, the legislature's always paid them back, reimbursed the cities, the counties, and the school districts. Keep doing that. It's good for everybody.
All right. Well, we will continue to follow this and see what happens on August 25th. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, there's another state question that our guest says really doesn't change anything. We'll be right back. Back on Flashpoint, our guest is State Senator Mark Mann from Oklahoma City. He's a Democrat, and we're going over some of these state questions that you'll be looking at, 2 of them come August 25th. And state question 846, let's look at what that really means, and then you tell us what you think it means, voter ID requirement amendment. Now, we already require everybody who goes and votes, no, you have to have a state-issued ID to vote in this state. What is this about?
We've already got it. What are we doing this for? Come on.
Well, I mean, it's honestly, it's just political theater, in my opinion. I mean,
First time ever at the state
First time
capitol,
ever.
There's been political theater.
this has been a law since 2011. I have literally heard no one on either side of the aisle say we need to repeal it or we need to change it. Oklahoma has one of the best election processes in the country, and all this amendment does is it puts into the Constitution that you have to show an ID. It still leaves it up to the legislature what that ID could look like.
Okay.
You know, so there are a couple of issues that we could add more requirements, but I mean we can already do that. So this really does absolutely nothing that we're not already doing.
Was this also along party lines?
Yes. Yeah.
Shocking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Why did your Republican friends think we need this?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I
You're
don't
our
know. I've thought
Republican.
about that, and
Yeah.
I mean, I think this plays in nationally to this, you know, stop the steal election narrative, and I think they just went along with it. And,
But well, what's the gain for the Republican Party if that passes?
nothing
Okay.
changes now.
Well,
What's,
this. I mean, he's our guest, and he'll
It'd
do
be in the
talking.
Constitution instead of statutory.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and you, as a legislator, as a Republican legislature, you go back to your district over eggs and issues or whatever you call it in your home district, and you say, I voted to strengthen our voter identification laws.
Okay.
And the strengthen it would be enshrining it in the Constitution as opposed to just statutory.
and what does the Democrats gain from voting no?
Well, it doesn't need to be in the Constitution. I mean, all of our other laws surrounding elections and how they're, it's all statute. And to put this in the Constitution, it's just not needed.
Mike?
Vote no.
And the other thing I will point out that I really don't like about it is when people look at this, they start questioning the election process, and it sows doubt. And there is no doubt. Oklahoma has a great process, and how we handle voting in the state is second to none. So it's not needed.
No hanging chads in Oklahoma.
No hanging chads. And I just think it creates doubt.
Now,
And like you said-
you both are on record as saying we have one of the best election processes
Oh,
in
absolutely.
the country.
Paul, and it's all because of Paul Zierix. I mean, it's been that way.
Election secretary.
Yeah, it's been that way for probably over 10 years. I mean, it's been a long time. This
got
is
a
something new that has occurred in Oklahoma historically, even before Paul Zierix got there. But since Paul Zierix has been as the state election board secretary, he has led the nation in our voting system, our process, and how we do it. Yeah,
And if you look at the few recounts, because candidates have to pay for that, over the last 10 or 15 years, the number rarely changes. And I don't think there's been an election outcome that's been changed by it.
But the narrative nationally is Donald Trump is now going to the United States Supreme Court, several of which he's appointed, and asking them to cut back on the availability of mail-in voting.
Correct.
No more mail-in voting. He wants the Supreme Court to do that for him. He wants to make it harder to vote, even though he confesses that him and his family do mail-in voting all the time. He wants to stop it for other people. So this is part of the idea of make voting a little bit harder instead of having access to the mail or any other way. We already have
agree.
ID. You got to have ID. We've already got voting security. You guys.
You support voter ID.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
hearing you say.
He's going to vote no
no.
on this,
I
but
know.
he supports voter ID.
Got it.
Yeah.
So now why mess with this?
All right.
But that's trying to appeal to the MAGA base that we're going to make it harder for people of color to vote. You're trying to appeal to all that, I believe. I'm not saying they would say that themselves, but let's make it harder to vote instead of easier to vote. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to play into that narrative. That's all I'm saying. It won't do that.
Okay, but why fear what the legislature may do with this? I mean, they're not going to do anything that's going to, I wouldn't think, that's going to keep the majority of people voting now that is going to keep them from voting.
Well, you would hope not, but there are other states who have done things that do make it harder for people to vote. And one of the things that we could already do, this doesn't change it at all, is the legislature could go into statute and change the requirements on mail-in ballots. That could happen right now, and it can happen with this. This does nothing to protect that.
Who benefits most from mail-in ballots, Democrats or Republicans?
Donald Trump and his family. They they use mail-in ballots.
Well, they don't benefit from, he said, who benefits the most from mail-in ballots?
Well, Trump and his family because they use them.
They do.
But go ahead. I think Trump would worry that it makes it easier for those pesky Democrats out there to vote if they can mail it in.
Kevin, back to your question, it goes to states. you know, and there are different systems throughout states. Oklahoma's great. We say that many times. And what's unique in Oklahoma, you're required to get in by a certain date. And so you don't have all these mail-in ballots come in that could possibly change the outcome of the results of the election days and weeks after the
and that process
election day is.
needs to be streamlined because that in itself does so.
But I will say
distrust
this.
sometimes.
That puts questions in your integrity, in your election laws,
exactly.
your voting system.
Whether it's
when that
Oklahoma
happens.
or other states, if you look at early voting, we're talking early voting in person, mail-in ballots. Generally, whether it's a national race or a local race, however those early ballots break, that are mailed in, is how the election breaks. And so to say that it benefits, I don't think it benefits any one party over the other unless it's used as a tool to suppress folks who would otherwise vote.
I got my driver's license here. That's what I use to go vote. You know, that's a government issued ID. That's what I believe in. I use it, and everybody else should too.
I see that.
Yeah.
You see, it makes sure he's legal.
What's that probation? I was just curious. I was just curious.
no.
Just kidding.
He wants to make a contribution to UCO.
Senator,
It's not a credit card. Go ahead.
take off your Democratic hat for
Okay.
just a minute and put on your political
Okay.
consultant hat, because you know this. You know politics as well as anybody out there. Which one of these has a better chance to pass, or do they both pass? Do none of them? Does one of them?
I think 846 probably has a better shot at passing
And that's
because
the voter
easier.
ID.
It's easier to understand. The other one I think is too hard for people to wrap their head around.
You said it, but here's your visual aid. There's
Yeah.
the first state question about manufacturing.
Maybe Hank can get a.
Yeah, I
tie
mean,
to
you
that.
can see it from that distance. There's the one's going to have problems. It's complex, a lot of issues, and then
10 minutes to read it.
that's the voter ID enshrining in the Constitution. Length versus brevity.
And, and I think a lot of people will just get frustrated with the first one and may vote no on both.
All right. Well, we will see what happens here when it comes up August 25th, because we're all going to be voting on it. We're going to keep Mark around because the National Governors Association, the conference was here. We're going to get his take on that because we already know what the governor thinks. We'll be right back on Flashpoint. Our governor, Governor Stitt, hosted the National Governors Association, the conference here. It was a success by everyone's measure, as far as we know.
Well attended.
Yeah, next year it will be in Maryland, and the host will be the Maryland governor, who is African American. And we asked the governor on our morning show, my brother did, how they got along with the different views they have. Here's what he said.
He's going to be the next chairman.
That's right.
Of the Governors Association. How does that work between you guys?
You know, I think Americans are craving leadership where you don't have to be hateful with each other. And everybody knows that I'm not going to sacrifice my principles of limited government, lower taxes, get government out of our lives, let the free market work. And so we may have some disagreements politically, but we like each other. And we're not hateful for one another. And what I find amazing is Governor Moore and I agree on probably 90% of the issues. Permitting reform, immigration reform. So I've actually put together these task force from the National Governors Association to really push Congress to fix some of these major issues instead of playing politics. They're just ideologues up in Washington, D.C., just kind of always fighting. But federalism are the ideas that states are closer to the people. And it's okay that Oklahoma is different than Maryland and New York is different than Virginia. And our founding fathers knew that there shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all across the federal government, across all the states. And we have, right now, we have too big of a powerful federal government that's trying to dictate a one-size-fits-all. And that's not what America's about.
All right, that was the governor with my brother.
He's
on
mad at the
our
federal
morning-
government who's run by the Republicans in the House, the Senate, and the White House. He's mad at them. You heard it, folks. Go ahead.
Well, anyway, the governor of Maryland's a Democrat,
Yeah.
African American man, and you heard they get along, and that's where the
course
conference
they
is
do.
going to be.
Yeah.
So anyway, what do you guys think? Give me 15 seconds on that.
First of all, it's wonderful. Thank you, Governor, for having all the governors here. It's bipartisan. It's wonderful. 4 words, you may be right. They learn from each other. Todd.
Governor and I had all the governors here. When Governor and I, he took them all to Grand Lake. When Governor and I was in office,
I remember that.
hosted all the lieutenant governors when I was chair of the NLGA. It's great to have non-Oklahomans visit Oklahoma.
All right.
Well put.
Well, I will just build on that. I think it's great anytime we bring people to Oklahoma that otherwise would not be here or may not travel here, and we get to show off our state.
All right, very good. Real quickly,
And they're meeting at the Campbell Hall of Fame in
we were
downtown.
going to do that. Talk about, we are one of the 5 states who has a shot, if you want to call it that, of getting what they're calling a nuclear campus here, which could mean a lot of things. It could mean radioactive waste. It could mean producing atomic energy here. Anyway, should we be wanting that here, gentlemen? According to the governor, it could mean a lot of money and a lot of jobs.
It's definitely worth pursuing. Now the proof is in the details, so we have to wait and see that. My understanding of these campuses are going to be research and development, uranium enrichment, and power generation. So it'll be kind of all. But it's important for people to understand as we start this process, start having these conversations. Nuclear power generation now is not what it was 40 or 50 years ago.
It's safer? It's
much safer.
Okay.
It's a much smaller footprint. So I think as the details roll out, we'll find out if it's a good deal or not. But I think it's definitely worth something.
Safety is certainly a concern. And as we talk about tax credits and things at the beginning of our program, in the future, the legislation needs to make sure don't give away the farm for nuclear if you're not taking care of oil and gas first. That's our backbone. That's our bread and butter.
The governor did mention that.
So oil and gas first, other alternatives, and then nuclear.
Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, I know it still scares people, but I think we're well beyond that.
Yes.
So I think it's worth looking at and pursuing. Safety first, I heard both of you.
Yeah.
Step at a time, we'll see.
All right, we will see. Senator Mark Mann has been our guest, a Democrat from Oklahoma City. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Senator.
you coming
Thanks for having
and
me.
addressing these state questions
Thanks.
and hearing what you think about them. And we will see how they turn out. And when we come back, it is going to be warm and fuzzy time because
can do that.
they both have pictures today, as they usually do.
Come on.
It's party pick time.
There
and
I
we have
am.
Todd.
There I am with Bishop McGinnis student Marin Camp and her folks and Vice President Kyle Ray
that's great.
outside my office. Marin, we want you to come to UCO. Thanks for. We know you want to stay in state, but please come to UCO after your senior year. It was a great visit on our campus.
That's terrific. And you got the president there.
That's right.
That's a pretty good visit.
There we are.
Good group, good group. Ladies and gentlemen, the Obama Presidential Center, that's Melvin C. Hall with his posse, Daryl Irby, Charles Cooksey, Reggie Deloney, and Melvin Hall, my law partner. I've practiced with him for about 30 or 40 years. Melvin Hall, hear me, folks. He's touched with a divine spark of infinite goodness. He's one of the best men I've ever met. Melvin C. Hall, good lawyer, great friend, and a superb law partner.
And
You want to give his phone number out?
Yeah, phone number. Call Melvin Hall. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for being with us. We'll see you next week.